The world tilted sideways as I stared at the text thread on James's phone screen. My breath caught in my throat as Rachel's message glowed up at me. "Can't wait to move into our beautiful home tomorrow. Your wife has such amazing taste. I won't need to change a thing." The phone had buzzed while James showered, lying face up on our custom marble nightstand, the one I'd spent 3 weeks sourcing. My hands trembled as I scrolled up, reading months of messages about his house, his incredible design sense, his sophisticated furniture choices. The irony burned like acid in my chest. Every single piece they were praising, every carefully curated detail they planned to enjoy together, had been selected, purchased, and arranged by me. I set the phone down exactly where I'd found it, my heart hammering against my ribs. 3 years of marriage, and James had convinced his mistress that he was the creative force behind our home. "My name is Lauren. I'm 29 and an interior designer. This is the story of how I emptied more than just a house." When James emerged from the bathroom 20 minutes later, toweling his hair, I was sitting calmly on the edge of our bed with divorce papers in my lap. His face cycled through confusion, panic, and finally, almost impressively, indignation. "You went through my phone?" he demanded. It was buzzing. Rachel's message was visible. I held up the papers. "These make everything simple. No division of property. You keep what's yours, I keep what's mine." Relief flooded his features so obviously it was almost comedic. "Lauren, I know this is messy, but you're being incredibly mature about this." The word mature felt like a slap, but I kept my expression neutral. "I'll pack my things tomorrow." That evening, Rachel arrived wearing a designer dress that cost more than her monthly salary, clearly purchased for the occasion. She perched on the velvet sectional I'd saved 6 months to buy, running her manicured fingers along the armrest like she was already claiming territory. "This place is absolutely perfect," she breathed, her eyes scanning the custom lighting fixtures, the carefully arranged furniture, the hand-selected decor that had transformed James's dated inheritance into something magazine-worthy. "I wouldn't change a single thing." James nodded smugly. "Lauren's just taking her clothes and personal stuff. Everything else stays." I watched Rachel mentally redecorate, seeing dollar signs in her eyes as she calculated the value of what she thought she was gaining. The irony was delicious. She'd fallen in love with my work while believing it was his. "The movers will be here at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning," I said evenly. "Movers?" Rachel laughed. "For clothes? How much stuff do you have?" I smiled for the first time in months. "More than you'd expect." That night, I moved to the guest room and lay there reviewing my meticulously kept inventory lists one final time. Every receipt, every purchase order, every delivery confirmation. 3 years of documentation that proved exactly who had created the home Rachel coveted. The next morning brought the moment I'd planned for. At exactly 9 a.m., 2 large trucks rumbled up our driveway. Professional movers emerged, led by Marcus, the foreman from the company I used for all my high-end client relocations. "Morning, Miss Turner," he called, consulting his tablet. "We've got that comprehensive inventory list you sent. This is going to be quite the job." James and Rachel appeared in the doorway wearing robes, looking annoyed at the commotion. "Why are there 2 trucks?" Rachel demanded, frowning as workers began carefully wrapping the living room artwork. I handed Marcus my signed authorization forms. "Everything on the list." "Wait, what list?" James's voice cracked as movers began dismantling the sectional sofa. "Stop! That's our furniture." I pulled a thick folder from my purse, months of carefully organized documentation. Every piece of furniture, every appliance, every light fixture, and every decorative item was purchased by me with my money. I set the folder on the bare coffee table as workers carried it away. "The receipts are all there." Rachel's face went white as she watched the custom dining table being wrapped in protective blankets. "You can't take everything. We've been using these things." "Usage doesn't transfer ownership," I replied. "And as we agreed, no division of property. You keep what's yours, I keep what's mine." The transformation was systematic and swift. By 10:30 a.m., the living room contained only the built-in shelves. By noon, the kitchen was stripped to its cabinets and countertops. Rachel sat on the floor. There were no chairs left, watching her dream lifestyle disappear piece by piece. The appliances, too? James's voice was barely a whisper as workers disconnected the stainless steel refrigerator I'd researched for weeks. Everything, I confirmed, watching them load the matching washer and dryer set onto a dolly. By 2 p.m., even the window treatments were gone. The house looked older somehow, all its flaws now visible without my carefully placed distractions. James alternated between pleading and threatening, but the paperwork was ironclad. As the last truck pulled away, a small van arrived. 2 specialists emerged carrying steaming equipment. "Mrs. Turner, we're here for the wallpaper removal." Rachel, still sitting on the floor of what was now an empty room, looked up in horror. "Wallpaper?" "Custom-printed botanical design," I explained. "Cost $8,000. My company designed it specifically for this space." "You can't take the walls," James shouted. "Not the walls," I corrected. "Just what's on them." I left them standing in a house that looked like a foreclosure. Bare walls, exposed outlets where my designer sconces had hung, scratched hardwood floors where furniture had once stood. It was worse than empty. It was stripped of every trace of care and beauty. Before I drove away, I heard Rachel screaming at James about how he'd ruined everything, then watched her storm out with her overnight bag, apparently heading back to her own apartment. 2 weeks later, as I settled into my new routine in the city, my phone rang at 7 a.m. James's voice had lost all its previous confidence. "Lauren, please," he began, and I could hear the desperation. "Rachel left that same day and won't return my calls. The neighbors keep asking if we're having financial troubles because they saw everything being moved out. I can't afford to replace everything, and nothing I buy looks right." I sipped coffee in my new apartment, surrounded by fresh pieces that better reflected who I was now. Lighter, brighter, unburdened by memories of betrayal. "That sounds challenging," I said, feeling nothing. "Could you help me? Not get back together," he added quickly. "Just help me make this place livable again? I'll pay your design fee, whatever you normally charge." I thought about Rachel's text message, about 3 years of being dismissed and undervalued, about her certainty that she wouldn't need to change his perfect taste. "I'm afraid that's not possible," I said, "but I'm sure you'll figure something out. After all, Rachel thought you had such incredible design sense." The silence stretched long enough that I wondered if he'd hung up. "She saw the house after," he said finally. "She said it looked like a prison. Some spaces once emptied should stay that way." I hung up and blocked his number, then walked to my window overlooking the city. My new space was smaller but filled with light, decorated with pieces that told my story rather than trying to salvage someone else's. The divorce had been finalized the week before. A swift process since we'd agreed on the property division and had no children. James had to sign the papers in that empty house, sitting on the floor since there were no chairs left. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about hurting someone. It's about finally seeing yourself clearly enough to walk away from people who never saw you at all. Before you go, here's a quick bonus for sticking around. If you love learning and growing like I do, you need to try audiobooks. I've got an exclusive deal with Audible. Your first month is completely free. That's access to over 500,000 titles, zero cost to you. All the details are waiting in the description. Don't miss this one.